You're listening to the Savoir Faire audio experience.
Are you ready?
The Savoir Faire experience is your guide to everything that has to do with lifestyle. From dating, rides, style, and entertainment. All brought to you by the editor of Savoir Faire magazine, Robert White. Anything goes on this audio experience. So, let's go.
It's still the best.
All right, guys, this is Robert White. Welcome to the Savoir Faire audio experience. This is episode 30. I love that we're knocking these out and interviewing so many great people very aggressively, which I love. This one's kind of a very cool interview we're going to do today. And I'm doing the introduction because it's part of just the podcast life. But here at the end of the day, we're meeting with Gudrun Snyder, who is she works in acupuncture, right? That's your studio?
That's right. Yes, I'm an acupuncturist, and I am the founder and CEO of Moon Rabbit. Yes,
acupuncturist. Yes. That's the word I could not pronounce. Okay, so and obviously owns Moon Rabbit Acupuncture, but also developed like a very cool bug repellent, and it basically says attract humans, not insects. And I love the branding for this thing, which is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we've worked hard on it. It's been in the works for about 2 years now, and we're so excited that it's finally ready to launch. You know, it's not even in its final packaging. The packaging is not what it's going to be, but because of everything that's been going on in the world and how I felt like, okay, the ingredients are ready, the formula's ready. Let's at least get it out there and get it out there quickly. It's not its most beautiful form, but it's still exactly how it should be. It's functional, it smells great, and it works. Right?
That's awesome. And we're going to hit on, all of those points about the bug repellent and the industry and what you guys have created, what makes it so unique. But I want to build a little bit of a timeline. We do this with every business person that we meet, because I want to learn more about who you are. So maybe just start from the beginning and give me a little backstory into who you are, where you kind of grew up, what's a little bit more about you before we get into acupuncture and then bug repellent.
Sure. I'm happy to talk all things about acupuncture and give a little intro to myself. So my name's Gudrun Snyder. I grew up in the Boston area in a town called Lexington. You might have heard of it. It's where the shot heard round the world was in the Revolutionary War.
Okay, yeah.
I was really close to my grandmother growing up. She was from Shanghai and came here to learn more Western medicine. She was an ear, nose, and throat doctor. She would get up at sunrise and do Tai Chi with a traditional Chinese sword, and she lived to over 100 years old. And
wow.
She was completely well and gardened and everything up until her last few years. And I really likened it to her combination of East and West, that she used all of Western medicine's technologies and advances, but also used Eastern medicine. She moved her body. She used herbal medicine. She grew up with acupuncture as part of her life, right? And I really believe that's why she was so healthy into an older age. So I grew up in Lexington, and then I went to Vanderbilt for undergrad in Nashville, Tennessee, where I majored in economics.
I was a Belmont student, by the way.
No way! What a small world!
Uh-huh.
We're neighbors.
Yeah.
And then went off to LA and worked. I did some grad school things, but I also worked in the entertainment world for the biggest talent agency in the world. I worked in motion picture talent for big stars. And then my grandmother got sick, and I had this kind of moment where I had this huge coveted job, but I really wanted to do something that connected myself to my history, my culture, my legacy. And I left that job. People couldn't believe it. And went and became an acupuncturist. I moved to Chicago to be with my husband and opened Moon Rabbit during the pandemic. Also, people couldn't believe that choice either, but I knew that people were going to need a sanctuary, a place that felt safe, that was going to do something that was for proactiveness in their health, right?
Right.
And we just opened our second location in Chicago and have launched our product line this summer, and I'm excited to see what the future brings.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for that really in detailed introduction, which is very cool. And I love the idea that you had a little entertainment industry background too, which is obviously my piece as well, which I kind of like. So it's good to find things we can connect on as well.
I love that.
So talk to me about like the very basic definition of acupuncture. I know clearly it's like, well, okay, I know the layman's version of like sticking needles in your body, but you tell me the
Yep.
real reason of why it exists.
Sure. So acupuncture is a part of traditional Chinese medicine, which has been around for thousands and thousands of years. And traditional Chinese medicine, before our modern medicine, was an entire scope of medicine. So if you had an earache, if you had a stomach ache, if you hurt yourself, it was traditional Chinese medicine that you went to if you lived in East Asia, these thousands of years ago. And it stayed around because while it is an ancient technique, it does have modern applications that still really work. And so now today we use acupuncture for all sorts of things. I specialize in hormone balancing, specifically fertility, people who have difficulties getting pregnant. And then I also specialize in psycho-emotional health, people who have insomnia due to stress, who have anxiety, those sorts of things. But I have other people on my team we treat professional athletes for injuries. We treat people for their migraine headaches. We treat children as young as 4 years old. So really,
Wow.
we have someone on staff who has a specialty that probably would work for you, right? We do always like to work with your physician, right? So if you're in treatment for cancer or for something like that, we want you always to see your physician, but we're always here for you as an adjunctive service to help manage your nausea, to help you with all of the other things. And if you're someone who's very healthy, we're the person who's going to help you stay healthy.
I love that. Yeah, cover all the spectrums. So talk to me about the process itself really quick, because obviously having you on is
Yeah.
going to be a key piece. What does it actually do to your body when you do acupuncture?
Absolutely. So you were right. Acupuncture does involve tiny, tiny needles. They're hair thin. There are some larger ones that we would use for certain types of things, but for the most part, when you get acupuncture, it's a painless experience. You go in, you meet with your acupuncturist, you talk about your health goals. Depending on their training, they will either maybe look at your tongue, feel your pulse. I don't do either of those techniques. I use something called facial diagnosis, which helps me determine what's your underlying pattern. Then at least at Moon Rabbit, you get on a nice heated table, and we put the needles in. It should be a painless experience. You might feel them going in, but people often go to sleep and say it's super relaxing. We leave them in for about 20 minutes in the room. During that time, people nap, people meditate. It's a really good way to take a break from your phone, right? And then we come back in, take the needles out, and you're done. And that's it. And so for some people, it's a one and done experience. For other people, I see people as frequently as every week for years, or as infrequently as twice a year for their kind of check-in, right?
Yeah, very cool. So the medical perspective of this is it relieving tension? Is that what the goal is?
So there's two perspectives. There's the biological Western medicine perspective. So we work at the muscle fiber level. So it actually can release those knots in your muscles if that's what's going on. It also works on the pain gate theory of pain. So essentially, sometimes when you're having pain, you get flooded with these sorts of neurotransmitters. It actually helps to shut that gate. There are other ways that acupuncture works, whether it's increasing blood flow or it's turning off certain signals to your brain, but we don't fully understand the entire underlying mechanism of how acupuncture works, right? I think in 20, 30 years from now, as we're becoming more proactive and investing more money in these types of modalities, we'll have a way better understanding. There's a lot more neuroscience coming out about exactly how acupuncture works. But for right now, I rely on the traditional Chinese medicine definition of how it works, which is when our body's out of balance, we use these needles to help bring the balance back in by changing the flow of the energy in your body, which is qi. You could liken that to the oxygenation of your body. So when certain areas aren't oxygenated well, there's more likely to be injury, pain, headaches, things like that. And then we bring that energy or that oxygen back to that area to restore balance.
Very cool. Well, I couldn't have you on here without talking about some acupuncture. So I'm glad we were able to get some educational pieces to that, which I hope people will dive into and look a little bit further, and obviously check out Moon Rabbit for services, depending on where they're located. Okay, let's dive into this new project. So you've been working in this industry for how many years now? Have you opened? Probably 5 years at this point?
So we've been open for 5 years. I've been working in this industry for about 10 years now. And
Okay.
it was just in the past 2 years, we decided to start developing products. People kept asking us for recommendations on things. And for the most part, we have a suggestion, whether it's an herb or a product that another line carries. But then when we were coming down to a few things where we're like, oh, we don't really have a great solution for that that's currently available on the market unless we make it ourselves.
Right. Which is what led you down this road of bug repellent.
Exactly. And so the bug repellent, people were coming in and being like, I want to put something on my skin that's good for my skin, or I want to put something on my kids that's not toxic, things like that. And so we've been using traditional Chinese medicine for bug repellent for, again, thousands of years, but we haven't combined it with other herbs or flowers to also like make it smell nice. Right?
Right.
And so we worked with our in-house team and another acupuncturist to develop what is now our eau de parfum and bug repellent spray that combines things like citronella, which we know is a natural bug repellent, and other things like orange and grapefruit, and then some traditional Chinese medicine things that also enhance its bug repellent qualities, but while it still smells great, right? Because things that attract insects are not the same things that attract humans, right? And things that repel insects don't necessarily repel humans, right? And so some of these essential oils that we use, while they repel insects, they still smell great to us, so we can still be attractive to other people, right?
Okay, very cool. So that's why this says attract humans, not insects, right on the bottle.
That's exactly right. And the ingredients are good for your skin. So they're not going to irritate you. They're not going to cause, rashes or things like that. They're actually going to make your skin more hydrated. They're going to make your skin feel better. So they actually have also skin enhancing properties to them as well.
That's so cool. And obviously the uniqueness of this product is that it comes from this Chinese medicine kind of background, but there are some unique things in here. So tell me one of those unique ingredients and why it stands out to you so much, like why it had to be in here for you.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things that's in there, which I really, really love, is an herb called blue tansy. It's an herb that we use in traditional Chinese medicine as well. It's incredibly good for the skin, and it's a natural bug repellent. It's something that in nature, things actually grow to be natural bug repellents, right? Because that's how they survive in nature sometimes. And this one, blue tansy, is just, it's a magical ingredient. It really enhances the product smell and the actual quality of it. You might find blue tansy in some other natural clean products. It's usually very expensive because of how it has to be gathered, but we use it in a certain concentration so we can still make it affordable to people.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, I obviously sprayed them. You sent me a couple samples so I could check everything out. I smelled them. They smell incredible. They definitely don't smell like bug spray. Like we're very familiar with, Off and these other brands that are kind of out there.
Totally.
And when you put those on, you're like, yo, I know you're wearing bug spray. It has a scent.
You're wearing bug spray.
Yes.
That's exactly it. And so what we did to test this is I actually went camping last summer with my family and a few other families, and I handed it out. And I was like, I want your honest opinion at the end of this camping weekend, right? Does this work? Does this not work? And overall, everyone really loved it. I had a few physicians in the group that are like, oh my God, you've changed my life. I'm only using this, right?
I love it.
It was wonderful. And it was just so exciting because it's never going to be as effective as using those things that have chemicals in them. That's just the name of the game. But it is still an effective way to use something that's clean and natural if that's what you want to do, right?
Well, it's no different than people that take an orange or a lemon, cut it in half, and pour a bunch of salt on it, and use it to clean your kitchen. And get away from the harsher chemical stuff. So this is right up that alley. Yeah.
Exactly. And we're all looking for cleaner and more natural alternatives in our world as we learn how these toxic products are changing our health and our environment. And so whenever we can try to choose something that has a little bit of less harsh ingredients that are better for you, we try to, right? And in this case, we came away, only one bug bite on one guy's ankle the whole weekend, and I felt like that was a success.
That's a huge success, which is awesome. So there's been some testing. That's good. So talk to me a little bit about this brand in general. Like obviously building a bug spray is new territory for you. You're
Yes.
obviously an entrepreneur. You're very familiar with kind of the ups and downs of building things out. Talk to me a little bit about some of that journey and what you've kind of learned from creating this product.
Absolutely. So product development was very new for me. I know how to build an acupuncture clinic. That to me is easy. I can do that in my sleep, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But product development was a lot harder. And so I had to bring in other people to help me along the way, right? I had to ask other people, like, where do I get the bottles from? And how much should things cost? And packaging and all the rules, right? So, we're Leaping Bunny certified, right? And going through that process and doing all of, I had to have my legal team review the labels and make sure I wasn't putting anything out there that's not true, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
It was really, so it cost more than I thought it was, right? That was one thing. But people are also really willing to help. And so I really learned that by asking people who've done it before, they were really happy to share their own learning lessons. And I was able to gather a lot of information just by asking people within my network, whether they knew somebody, and I would get introductions and do cold calls. And that's how this got to market, was by having people being willing to share their own stories, right? And giving me advice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, how far have you gotten with this so far? Like, are you just sending out, is it someplace where people can buy this directly off of your website, or are you?
Absolutely. So right now it's only available on our website, which is moonrabbitacupuncture.com. You just click on the shop link and you search for our bug spray and you'll find it there. And also we have it in a roller version, which I really like to throw in my bag. Literally, I went to a wedding and I had the roller in my bag and all these bugs started coming. And so I put it on my neck. You can put it on your face. And everyone's like, oh my God, what is that? I'm buying it right now. It was great. And everyone at the wedding wanted to use it, right? Because it was small and functional and smells great. And so, yes, you can buy it on our website, moonrabbitacupuncture.com. You just go into the search bar, search for our bug spray. And we hope to have it in stores in the future. Like I said earlier on the call, it's not in its final packaging. I really wanted to get it to market quicker than the final packaging design was going to take. And that will be more available in the spring. And then we'll be going out to wholesale retailers. And hopefully you'll find a store near you then in a year or two from now that will have the Moon Rabbit bug spray. That's
so cool. And I'm hoping, like, obviously, the press aspect, the podcast part of this all helps with awareness, at least, so those dreams can kind of come true. It would be very cool to see this out. I showed it to some of the women that work around me, and they fell in love with it. One of them actually stole one of the samples. So I've played with the spray. I think it smells great. Obviously, you don't feel like you're putting bug spray on, and the effectiveness. I'm in New York right now. It's supposed to be like in the mid 70s today and tomorrow. So I'll try it and see if I can keep the bugs away. I love it. I can't wait to hear what you think. And give you some feedback. I love that. Yes. And also, we're also really open to feedback right now, right? And so we actually changed the formulations 3 times. And I said it took 2 years to come to market, right? And so we changed the formulation. So I'm hoping right now it really packs the punch it needs, but it still smells great, right? Right.
And so, yeah, you can get it on our website, moonrabbitacupuncture.com. And I hope someday soon it'll be in stores nearby. And I can't wait to hear what you think, Robert, out and about in New York.
Yeah, we'll definitely try it out. Well, thank you for connecting. I really appreciate kind of getting some time to interview you, ask you questions about acupuncture. And clearly we want listeners and readers to go out and check out this bug spray. There's warmer climates all over the world. So, grab it, sample it, try it, give some feedback. It sounds like you're extremely open to some of that stuff. And that's, the best we could do. So, yeah, very cool. I love the idea that you took a very unique path in life and completely pivoted to create something very unique that's not in the market. There is not a bug spray that smells good and works, and you have done that. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot, and it means a lot to be featured by you and even just to have you try our product. Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome. So have a great day. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, great. Thanks. You.
Thank you for listening to the show. Please take a minute to head over to www.savfair.com and subscribe to our publication.